and welcome back. Here with us, we have the hilarious comedian, writer, actor, one of Variety Magazine's top 10 comics to watch in 2020, Mr. Dewayne Perkins.
Hey.
Hello, Dwayne.
Hello, what it do?
How you doing?
You know, I am surviving day to day, moment to moment, truly.
Facts.
That's all we can do, right? Day by day.
How's it going over there in Los Angeles?
Things are fairly good because I don't leave my house. So it's me, my boyfriend, and my dogs, and we have a great time. But outside, I don't know, people wilding.
All their ass.
People wearing their masks out there?
No, like sometimes, some places. And I didn't realize how many insane people lived here.
Oh, yeah.
Like you'll be driving down the street and then you'll just see like a random like Trump rally of just like a group of people just being like, we are here to say what we have to say. And I'm just like,
in LA?
Yes, just like in Beverly Hills, like literally you'll like.
I actually believe that.
That is disgusting.
Like OC, some areas of Beverly Hills are really bad. And then also those same people are the people who are at LA Pride out there telling us we're all going to hell. I mean, I believe that 100%. They're there.
True.
What sort of things have you been up to during this, isolation pandemic?
I've been just mainly getting a bunch of writing done. I feel like this time in particularly has I've been blessed to like have writing jobs because we can do it on Zoom. So I've just been really focusing on doing all the things that I put off. Because like before quarantine, I wouldn't want to be inside the house writing. But at this point, I was like, well, I don't really have much else to do. I might as well try to get a check.
I know that.
I hear that.
Hello. I'm trying to secure the bag.
Secure the bag, sis.
So that's kind of been my focus of just being like, all right, just figure out, like, do as much as I can while I have the time to do it.
Yeah,
that's good advice.
Word.
So Dewayne, you're like killing it in show business right now. Like I said earlier, Variety named you top 10 comics to watch in 2020. How did this moment come to you? I know you grew up in Chicago, right? So like how did you get to be the successful comedian, writer, actor that you are today?
I think it really has to do all with my identity as like a Black gay man that grew up specifically in Chicago. Most people won't see Chicago as like, they see it as like a city, like a cool city, but it's truly just one of the most segregated racist places I've ever been. And so growing up, it was very clear to me like what the system was and what the rules were. And so I spent a lot of time very early on figuring out like what it meant to be successful within the means in which the people in power said success was. And I'd study that and then figure out every way that I can just like fuck it up practically. So I'd find like exactly what I would want to do, figure out how to do it, and then just hit that as hard as possible. So like, for instance, like when I started stand-up, I started stand-up in 2017. And so even to be named one of the comics to watch this year, I think is like, blew my mind.
It's amazing.
But there was like a moment that my stand-up, like I've tracked it. So I first did stand-up in 2000, like the very end of 2016 on Thanksgiving, because I was doing a sketch. I was working at Second City, and it was half stand-up, half sketch. I wrote most of the show, but I remember some Comedy Central executives came to the show to watch the comics because they were like waiting to see like if they were getting something. And then in talking to them, I saw the way that they looked at the comics versus the writers, actors. And I was like, oh, stand-up is a medium in which I can say what I want while showing that I can write. I can tell you who I am so you know like what I'm all about in a very succinct way. So in that moment, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do stand-up. And I remember telling the Comedy Central exec, because one of my coworkers, her name was Sonia Denis. She was up for, she was one of their comics to watch that year. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get that next year. And she was like, what? And I was like, I'm going to get that next year. And she was like, but you did stand up once so far. And I was like, yeah, girl, I'm going to get it next year.
You're like, right, I know.
Like I heard what I said, I'm going to do it.
And then that next year, I was at Clusterfest, and I was one of their comics to watch, and we were walking down the hall, and I was like, "Hey, you remember when I met you last year, and I told you that I was gonna get this?" And then she like gasped, and then I was like, "I told you." And then I just like walked away, and it was like one of the best moments I've ever like.
Yes.
Just reveling in that moment.
And then
Now I've never done stand up, and I love to go to stand up though. And they say that comedy usually comes from like a place of pain. So where would you say like comedy for you comes from? Is it like something that traumatic that happened, or did you just see someone on TV and you were like, I can do that, I'm gonna do that?
I think comedy, when I was younger, I had a speech impediment. So I went through a lot of speech therapy to be able to speak. And so for a long period of my life, I was just like a listener. So I just would watch and listen. So it gave me a very heightened sense of objectivity and just like really seeing things for what it is and like studying. And so most of my stand-up stems from just like me being Black and gay in this world and being like, hey, this is the world you're selling me, and this is what I'm not gonna do. And so most of my comedy stems from that place of just being like, hey, I know what the game is, so let's just like call it out.
100.
That kind of brings me over to my question. You did a solo show, how being Black and gay made me better than you. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because honestly, that's something I've been saying for a long time. So can you tell our listeners how you came up with that and like what all about that is?
Yes. So specifically when I started in entertainment, I kept being asked, like, how are you so confident? How are you so confident? And I was like, I don't know. Like, why are you asking me this? And then I really started to like think, like, why am I so confident? And then through me like going through therapy and just like thinking on like my life, the intersection of being Black and gay, I don't think many people understand what that experience is.
Yeah.
And I think in order to survive that in the spaces that I was in, I had to very quickly know who I was, because I had to dictate, like I couldn't let people dictate who I was. So I was like, if I can't, like I'd have to figure out who I was first, so that when I interacted with people, I knew like I had a strong base. And so from there, I just kind of really, I think like the intersection of like, what am I trying to say? There is this idea of being a person that society said that you should like hate yourself, and then having to like figure out how not to. And then once I got to that point, I was like, oh no, like I've done so much more work on myself than most of you have even started to. Like most people are not asked to explore themselves in a way that like I had to, because of the spaces that I was in, because of my identity. And so I just had a very strong sense of self. So when I entered these spaces, like when I was doing comedy, there was no way that I can walk into that space and have fear of like this. Like I've been shot at, I've had to like deal with some shit. You can't get me to fear like a nigga in a suit. Like you can't.
I know that's right.
And so it gave me just like a clear mind to make choices based on what I wanted and not fear.
Yeah, I really like that. I mean, you know, I think that sometimes when people think that they can get to you and they're like, oh, we're gonna call you a faggot or homo, whatever, it's like, that's all you got? Like you can't shake me. Like I'm still here. Like, sure. It's like, you think that hurts me? Great. That's who I am. All right, let's keep it moving.
It's true, but it took a lot of like
it takes
growth and like self-awareness to realize like that's just something that, you know, those are words. It's my interpretation of those words and how I feel, you know. Otherwise, because now I feel like today, if I could call the faggot, it's like, thanks.
Absolutely. Because I think you get to a place of like, you've done so much work on yourself. You're like, if you still think that is offensive to me, you're dumb and I don't respect you. So your opinion means nothing. You just like skip away. You're like,
literally skip. I love it.
That's so funny. So how have you adjusted your comedy with the pandemic that's going on? Like, I know that's got to have brought up so much material for you.
This is, I think like me doing so much has allowed me to compartmentalize parts of my comedy in ways. So like I was talking to like stand-up friends of mine who stand-up is like their thing. They are a stand-up. I'm like, I have a lot of stuff. And so once the medium changed and I was like, well, I'm not gonna focus on stand-up because we can't do it. So I'm gonna focus
Yeah.
on things that I can do, which is writing. And so that I just shifted my time to doing the thing that I think that I could like that would be the most useful in the conditions that we have. And so I've been asked to do shows, and people think like, "Oh, you have so much to say," and I'm like, "I have nothing to say, nothing." I'm like, my comedy has been translated into just like a different place because I know that like this is the place where I'm going to reap the most
Right.
benefits based on these circumstances. Like, I'm not going to try to force stand up when I'm like, it's not happening. So like, let me just do something else because energy is like finite, and I don't want to give it to something that's like feels wasteful. That didn't sound nice.
No, but I knew what you meant. It
Yeah.
was like, well, I mean, obviously we're not going to be in any sort of club right now.
Yeah.
So let me put all my energy into this other thing that I'm really good at. It's like,
Mhm.
I think a lot of us had to kind of do that during this quarantine.
Everyone kind of had to readjust to like what life was and now what life is going to be or is. It's very odd. I want to talk to you a little bit. Wild 'N Out, one of my favorite shows. Love it. Would love for you to talk to us about season 9 of that show and your experience and everything with that. And this is why we have Pride the Podcast. Spill the tea. Let us know.
I mean, I think my personal journey with Wild 'N Out was very illuminating and interesting because it forced me to kind of like process some things that I hadn't dealt with in spaces that I have avoided. So like growing up and then like going to college, I then like found the spaces that I felt the most comfortable because I was like, I have a choice now. And then and going back into Wild 'N Out, the energy felt very much like where I grew up, and I didn't like deal with a lot of that. And I was like, oh, I'm triggered in a way that like it's unhealthy. But and then that show within itself was just like trying to expand their mindset, but I would say some people weren't. They just didn't know how to exist with gay men in a way.
I was wondering that.
Yeah.
I was wondering two parts about that. One, how to exist as a gay man and a gay man of color, which kind of is a completely, as you stated in the beginning, is a completely different thing. And I know how it feels being in those spaces, being a Black gay man, and then also being in a group with Black hetero men and sometimes women. It's very triggering.
Yes. So it like on because it reminded me of people that I grew up with, I knew that like no one's intentions were to be terrible.
Right.
But just in not being exposed to certain people. There were just like things that they would say that I'd have to be like, you can't say that. like because like first of all, when we got there, they said out loud, we're trying gays this season. And I was like, don't say it like that. Don't say that out loud. And then like there was me and then one other gay person that they were trying that season. He was a gay Puerto Rican man. And when we would like go do stuff, they would be like, this is for all the dicks. And I would be like, no, chill. So it was like comedy wise, Wild 'N Out style is very much like you take the most obvious noticeable thing and you make a joke about it. Very much like middle school. It has like a very like high school energy of like we're roasting and like having fun. And so they take a part of your identity and just like amplify it. And that's what the jokes are. So for me, all the jokes were like, you're gay. And I was like, yes. And then it would just be awkward because I was like, see, that's not a joke.
It's like, okay, yes. And then
like, and so what are the implications of that? Give me something more. And so there was a moment, and this is where I think the intersection really played, where we had to have like a truth circle or something because the showrunner was like, oh, we should like get to know each other more. And so we're like going around saying like where we're from, and it got to me, and like the guy next to me like jumped at me, and like a very like I don't like a very childlike like bullying, like we're teasing each other. And then I said, "Oh, y'all got me fucked up." And then I had to like tell the group, like, "Hey, this is where I'm from. This is what I'm about. When I was younger, I got bullied and I didn't like it and I tried to kill somebody. So let me tell y'all right now, I don't like being bullied and I will kill each and every one of you." Then they laughed. Like they like laughed and then I was like, "Ha, I'm not joking." And then they were like,
Right.
"Okay."
Right.
And then for the rest of the season, the way that they treated me and the way that they treated the other person was completely different. And I kept telling the person like, "Hey, you have to just like speak up for yourself because they're not going to stop treating you this way unless you like tell them to." And by the end, he unfortunately had like a mental break. And I was like, these spaces are hard to navigate if you have not had to navigate them before. And luckily I did. So I had like a, a mental defense, whereas this other person didn't. And I also had like training so that I wasn't intimidated in the space because I was like, I can do improv in my sleep. I have more training than anybody in this room. And the other guy was like a social media person. And so they saw him online and he was like, I do what I do online. This is not a space that I'm thriving in. So all of that compounded onto that kind of broke him. But like, and I saw those signs, and luckily for me, I just was like, okay, let me focus. But it was very, very difficult. And I don't think they knew how it would be that because none of them were gay black men or like gay men
Right.
of color. So it was just like an environment that was very, very difficult. But like no one in particular was like terrible. It was just like, oh no, this is just like this is not a space that knows.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a space that like is just stuck back, you know, like they're children. That sounds like a very childlike space. Like no one likes to be bullied. We were talking about this earlier. People don't like to be bullied. People don't like to go back and forth. It's like if you're someone's making fun of you and you're making like and they're not laughing, then like we're not doing this. Like we're not in that space. So I'm really glad that you let them know that you are not the one, the two, or the three.
Yeah. And I said, talk to them. I'm like, yeah, I told y'all who I was. Like, they just like, I'm very much like, if I tell you who I am, then like, you can't be mistaken because I told you.
Right. So when I choke you out, it's a wrap. I told you.
There it is.
Yeah, I love that.
You remind me so much of our roommate Delmonte. He's very much like that as well. Like when we first met him, he was like, "This is my name. This is what I don't like. And I fight."
I fight.
So
Quickly.
if we fight, it's your fault because I let you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, you know, sometimes you have to let bitches know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you know,
Like, I think like transparency, like I made a promise to myself when I turned 25 to be as transparent as possible, but also as kind as possible. So I think I really do, and I have trained and like learned how to speak exactly what I want to say, but in a way that's like, this is just my truth. No hard feelings. But
Yeah.
like,
Right.
if you like it,
but like,
you like it.
yeah, we exist in this world, and I want my time to be here to be as pleasant as possible. So if you're doing something that's upsetting me, why would I not say it?
Yeah.
Right. 100.
True. Okay, so now you're writing for the Amber Ruffin show, which I'm
Yes.
super excited about. Tell us about that whole experience. I'm sure it's been a blast.
Oh my God. So I knew Amber from Second City. Amber has been such a positive light in my life. She got me my first writing job. And I say she got it for me because it was a situation where my agent like quit and I didn't know. So I had to like turn in a writing packet. And she specifically like texted me like, hey, where's that packet? And I was like, what? I thought my agent, and then she was like, send it to me. And then she sent it to Michelle
Wow.
Wolf, who was also who was working with her at late night, and that's how I got my first job. And I was like, without you being like, hey, let me help you, like it. She just has been great. I wrote for her for the WGA Awards, which was also really great. And it's been like hands down my favorite job. I've never worked for a like I've never had a black boss. And so
Okay, I was about to say, I know that had to be great because I had that experience once, and I was like, oh, can it be like this all the time?
And she like told us from the jump, she was like, hey, this is why I hired you three people. She told me that she hired me because I'm good at hard jokes. She hired my friend Shantir because she was like, you have a lot of heart and you know how to write things with like gravitas. And she hired Demi because she was like, you are strange and silly. and you three combined make me. And I was like, great. And then she was like, write what you would write for yourself because your sense of humor is mine. And last week I got to write a piece that was entirely about the song "What Would You Do" by City High, and I like pitched it, and I was like, "This is funny to me," and she was like, "I feel the exact same way," and then we just did it, and I was like, "What? I could have never done that at any job I've ever had. It's just been like the most refreshing job I've. It's just so black and so kind. I really love it.
I love
Minus like
that.
all the Trump jokes. I hate writing about Trump because but like other than that, it's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, aren't we tired of talking about him?
I think the more attention that we give him, the worse off we are.
It's just, you know, if someone would have told us, Dewayne, that this is where we would be in a pandemic, a race war, with this person running the country, like having all the protections for trans people, gay people, Black people, Mexican people, like everything's being rolled back. I'm like, where are we? Like, I never thought I would see this world. Like, we read about this in history books and we were like, wow, that shit was hard, huh? Well, now we're experiencing it.
Have you voted yet?
Yeah. And it's funny because like I voted and then immediately was like, I'm so empty. I'm just like, I feel nothing. Like it's just there. I'm trying not to live in a sense of pessimism, but like there's just like so many things that I'm like, yo, this is humongous. Like this is such a huge overtaking. And we like we gotta start over. Like this is broken. Like this is so many quarantine has just like opened so many eyes to so many holes. And it's just like obvious that it's like this does not work, and now we're just like living in this system that we are aware does not work. So every day is like, so we still just doing this shit don't work. All right, I guess we
and the amount of families and friends that have been broken because of these last 4 years, I don't feel is ever going to be repaired, to be honest. Like there are people that I'm like, I'm probably never going to talk to that person again because of some wild shit they said online. Like, we're not doing it. Like, it's really crazy. Have you had any experiences like that in the industry at all?
I think my whole life I've been pretty much like it don't take much for me to chop you real quick because I'm like, there's too many people in this world to surround myself with people that I just don't fuck with. And so there's just like, it's not much. And if you give me any reason to be like, ooh, that's a bad vibe, if you're mean to a waiter, I'm like, ooh, cut. Like you don't have like basic decency. And if they're just like, if you don't move from a place of just like basic like kindness, I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I hear that.
So growing up, did you have someone that like inspired, I guess two things, inspired your comedy in terms of writing jokes, but also inspired you as a person that wanted to go into show business?
Like not really. I felt like very.
You're like, oh, I inspired myself.
Like I felt very much like there wasn't a person, but I think like cartoons really had a tremendous impact on me. So like Looney Tunes, the Animaniacs, like
that's interesting.
Because like in terms of like real people, they just never really hit it for me. Cause like
people suck.
And like comedy, it was either you were white or you were like Black and homophobic. And I was like, neither of these things are appealing to me. So I'm gonna get lost in the fantasy of like fiction. And so like I was inspired by like books and like so my comedy is very much like a cartoon. And then I majored in like animation. I have like cartoons are really like the freedom of like children's programming is more inspiring to me, even in this moment, than like comedy. Like I watched a movie on Netflix called Over the Moon recently. Beautiful. Like some of my most favorite movies of the last years have been like children's films. I think just the way in which you have to think about those worlds. I think I'm just like truly just trying to escape. Just like
I hear that.
Like
so would you?
It's just not. I'm not here for it.
Would you say like children's, whether it's a children's book, a children's movie, cartoon movie, is like something in your future that you would want to do?
I think like most of my art is very much like children's programming for grown-ups. Because like I think my like sensibility is very much like silly, goofy. I'm very anti-trauma. Like I'm not here for like I want to be happy and
Yeah.
joyful. But also I want to smoke a bunch of weed. So like we're going to combine.
I love
those.
that.
And so like that's really like what I'm about. Just be like, hey, what's fun, what's joyful, but also like let's be chill and have some fun. We still like gonna say a bunch of bad words and
I was gonna say, it sounds like something like you would write something really well for Cartoon Network. Or,
Yeah. Adult Swim.
Adult Swim.
Mm-hmm.
I would be into that.
I love that.
One
If
more.
you need a voiceover actor.
Yes,
I am always available.
I am available, and my SAG dues are up to date. So let me know.
Mine
I'll do
are
it for
not.
free.
You said mine or not.
Yeah,
So.
No, I truly checked yesterday. There, it was too much. I was like,
You said I can't be fucking with it.
Yeah.
Again, something I can't fuck
So I
with.
do want to do it so that we can get those screeners. I do
Right.
always enjoy that.
I love free things.
I love free.
But it's not free though if you have to pay $3,000 for whatever.
Whatever. Use it as that.
That's an expensive
It
ass
feels
movie.
free.
It feels free, and we're only paying technically $100-some. Whatever. I'm over it. I ain't got it, but whatever.
Okay, one more thing I wanted to talk about was you are a consulting producer on the new Saved by the Bell.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Saw the new trailer today.
Yeah, that looks
I know. Also,
Like-
fun fact, I also play a high schooler in it. My name is Ray. So young.
Yes, Ray. We grew up with Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
And I just can't.
Were you a big fan of the show? Like when it was out? Yeah.
Yeah, and like it was very cool. Like it was just like to be like on set. I was like, this is crazy. Like, oh shit. Like it really was really cool. And I'm happy to like say a few lines in it. I'm like, this is a cool credit. Like just like for me as like a person.
Right.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Well, I hope it gets a second season. I was watching the trailer today. I was just like, I ran and jumped out of bed. I said, wake up. I said, look at this trailer. I said, Zach and Kelly, baby, Tiffany Amber Thiessen said, get into it. Like, I'm back. Like, it's
And,
great.
like, it's very fun because this is really about like a commentary on the old show. It'd be like, oh yeah, like as the world has progressed, we know that like the old show there was problems, and now it's fun to like be able to like still joke about that of like, yeah, we knew like there was some like weird stuff, and now we're gonna like being able to like have kids enter Bayside and be like, oh y'all crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all crazy was like so fun to like joke about.
The format's a little different. I want to ask you if you can talk about it. How do you feel about, and if they do include it, you can't say, I completely understand, Lisa Turtle, Screech, and Mr. Belding. How do you feel about, if they were included, do you feel like it was done in the right way? And if it wasn't included, do you feel like they should have?
Why weren't they?
I don't think I can talk about it.
Right.
We tried it. We tried it.
We did try it. I put it in a way where you didn't have to answer, but
I wanted to know.
You could give an answer if they were not. But I think that the audience will hopefully be surprised with what y'all did.
Yeah.
That's what we do here. We throw you curveballs and see if we can get it. We tried.
Listen, we'll always try and get the tea.
I mean, I loved it. It was fun.
All right. Mario Lopez looked great shirtless. He looked great.
He always looks good.
He really does. He is aging wonderfully.
He looks so great. I need to get the number to his doctor.
I just need to get his number. Can I get his number? He said that.
Dwayne, do you have his number? Will you text him right now?
I don't even think I've met him. I've like seen him from afar.
I've seen him at the
I saw him in the bathroom at the Emmys.
Okay, well.
No, he was washing his hands. Let me clarify, people. He was washing his hands, and I was up to the sink to wash my hands. I looked over and I said, "Oh shit!" And I said, "Oh, okay." Don't. And then he walked out. He said, "How you doing?" I was like, "Good." And I was like,
Did it happen with you and
Vivica Fox?
Vivica Fox.
I was just like, hey, girl.
It's great when it happens.
Nice weather, right? Right? Trying to play it cool.
Well, Dewayne Perkins, this has been so much fun. You are just such a little gem of a light, and I love it. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Thank
Shooting
you.
the
This
shit
was
with us
very
little crazy
fun.
folks.
Yes,
come
you'll have
back.
to come back.
Yeah, after Saved by the Bell airs, you can come back and tell us all the tea.
That's when.
Yes, that's when you can spill the tea.
Yeah.
Because we want to know
Okay.
all of it.
All right.
Okay.
That's a good deal. All right. Once it goes
Yeah.
back.
Well,
Thank you.
Dewayne. We
Thanks,
really
Dewayne.
appreciate it.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Speak soon. Bye-bye.
And welcome back, everybody, to
Welcome
Pride the
back.
Podcast.
Yeah.
We're so excited that we have the creator and founders, of Gay Pride Apparel, Jesus Gutierrez y Sergio Aragon.
Yes.
We never been introduced like that.
I know.
That's
I know.
so sexual.
That's No, well, thank you guys for coming on. We're so appreciative to take time out of your busy schedule. I know during quarantine, everybody's trying to do something.
Yeah.
Right? Well, thank you so much
So
for
how's your
having us. We're very excited.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you. So how's your quarantine been going? I know you just moved to Mexico City recently.
Yeah. So long story short, I guess we were in New York for about 2.5, almost 3 years. And then COVID came around, good old COVID. And we, after 4 months of isolating together and in a tiny New York apartment, we quit our jobs. So we both worked in fashion, and then we decided to move to a different country. So I guess, quarantine's been treating us pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
so you
amazing.
literally did what everyone was trying to avoid.
Yeah. Literally, our
Yeah.
friends were getting fired, and we were like,
We're willingly leaving our jobs.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It's
Why?
a blessing to be able to have the choice to do that.
Why did you do that?
we asked ourselves that question every single day, literally. But
Hence the wine.
we started Gay Pride
Right.
Apparel last year of January, and it really wasn't a full-time business at that point. It was just like a little side project that we wanted to do and represent ourselves, celebrating the 50th year of Pride there. So it was just like a little side business for us, not a hustle, nothing.
Like
just
a
like
hardcore side business where we were making any sales. So
exactly.
That sounds very familiar.
It's
Yeah.
so
then-
then it started with like a hobby. You were like,
Exactly.
I'm kinda good at it.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
how did it start?
So we both, let's just all the way back. So Sergio and I went to school together starting in fifth grade.
Yeah.
We didn't meet till sixth
Us
grade.
middle school lovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, except we didn't realize till after. It was weird. So we started, we became friends. We went through school together. We separately went to different colleges, and then college happened and drunk nights happened, and you're like, what's going on?
And now we're here, and then we got together.
And then we got together.
Hey.
Yeah.
I missed those nights.
That
That's a
honestly
drunk
makes the most
pack.
sense to me. I love
Exactly. So we've been together for about 3.5 years now, and it's just been great being able to be with your best friend, your business partner, your everything.
Yeah.
And just it's been working very, very well.
Yeah, and the
Aw.
reason we Gay Pride Apparel was we were both, our backgrounds both in fashion, sort of. Like I did e-commerce.
I
He was
did product merchandising.
So we kind of were like, we all know it. New York inspires you, or New York drives you to get some kind of extra income because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So we were like,
Honestly,
let's put our energy together. Let's build something we love. And again, it wasn't a real business until this year when Pride hit, which was in the middle of COVID. And the question that we asked ourselves, and the reason why we left our day jobs, which is a really risky thing to do, is if we're doing this as a side business, then like what's gonna happen next? Like, are we gonna forever be a side business? Like when's the next step? And it kind of felt like the right moment with everything going on in New York, and like just
We weren't working for working anymore. Like we were being driven to like the core. It wasn't fun anymore. We didn't have time to be creative, be inspired by other things. So we literally had to take the jump. And Jesus, one day he was like, we either do it or we don't. And I'm like, let's put our 2 weeks notice then.
And everyone's like, why did you both do it?
Yeah.
Because we have no self-control.
I love that. I mean, that's actually my first question for you guys is like, what advice would you give someone who is working a 9 to 5, is possibly asking you this interview question right now, and is looking to follow their passion and quit their job? What would you say to me, people who want to do that? So sorry.
I second that as well.
Yeah, I'm just asking. I want to know.
We're friends.
We were just talking to our friends yesterday, and they asked us the same question.
Yeah.
And if you are passionate about something, you know, you don't have to, like, we didn't go full time for 2 years. Like, you know, like work, build it up, but then, you know, just literally, it sounds cliche, just do it. And like, I was telling Sergio the other day, like, if we have to get like some freelance work, because some months are going to be rough, like, that's better for us than being at a 9 to 5 all day and kind of wasting our time there. Like, just do it. And I was telling my friend who's also kind of like, she's like lost. And I was like, just find a job that pays the bills and like, doesn't have to be 9 to 5, like the bare minimum, and work on your passion. And eventually like, just work towards it being your main thing.
Exactly.
And it sounds like easier said than done, but I really just do it.
It's not one night from another.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, you have to marinate it. You have to know what you're passionate and loving about. And I feel like it's just going to come to you one day and you're going to be like, fuck it all, you know, like excuse me, I'm just going to like go for it and just like reach for your dreams, because like, I feel like if you never actually do it, you're never going to know the outcome of it, you know?
Well, a lot of people are very fucking miserable, to be honest with you, at their jobs. Like, sometimes people will sit at their jobs. There's been days.
Whoa, are you?
I'm talking about people. People will sit at their desk and they'll be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, and you sit there, and those moments, I like what you guys said at the beginning. You're like, what are we doing? Like, no, we're not happy. Like, this is just crazy. Like, at this point, we're just working to exist. And especially now with the pandemic, I was telling the guys the other day, it's no longer working from home, but you're living at work, because if you're working from home,
That's exactly right.
you're living at work. So it's like, you have no separation. Coming home was my separation.
Exactly.
Now there's no separation.
That drove me like
crazy
up the wall. Because I remember, like, I'm a social person. Like, I just love meeting people. I love being around people. Like, COVID's really friendly for that. But I was like, I really miss, like, as much as I hated some of my coworkers, I really miss the ones I didn't hate. and that was a big part of me going to work. Even the ones I hated, I kind of missed their snarkiness. Yeah. I was like, that was a big part of me showing up at the office and like being a human. But after working from home for 5 months, I was like, ugh.
Yeah. So you now, obviously, you work for yourselves. You have this amazing accessory fashion line. What are your hours?
That's so funny. People always ask that.
It's nice because before we were working from 9 to 5 and we were still quarantined, but it was when it was like everything was lifted. I was like, I want to go to the grocery store, but like, I need to have my mouse like moving at all times so it shows that I'm online. You know what I mean?
Right
and
now.
they would like, my boss would always message me and she's like, hey, I need this right now. So like,
you're at Trader Joe's.
I'm at Trader Joe's and I'm like, I'll give it to you in 10 minutes. And like,
right.
You should have got a neck massager pillow to move your mouse. I heard it works.
I've seen that. Or a moving fan. Have you seen that? They put a
and they move it around.
A friend of mine may have done that. And my friend was all the way downtown and their job thought they were working.
Your dumb friend.
My dumb friend. Still got a job.
This friend's gonna get caught up.
But my friend gonna get real caught up and might have to come over and work for Pride Apparel. Call me.
Literally though.
But we do work, like, it's not a 9 to 5 anymore, but it's definitely like a 12 to 12.
Yeah.
We're constantly like, it's flexibility because no one's gonna tell me what to do, but
if you don't do it, who's gonna do it? You know what I mean? So like,
I can't blame my coworker on not doing it.
Exactly. So like,
knows
when we have to get things done, we get it done. And like, we normally work from 9 to 5 because that's when the emails are coming through. But like, we take a break throughout the day. We go get groceries, and then we come back home, and then like we're just cooking dinner, but we're both on the computers, just like replying to customer service, seeing what's out there.
Yeah.
So it's a good balance, we would say.
But it's
nonstop. Yeah.
It's nonstop.
Yeah. Well, I work in customer service, so if you need somebody to answer an email, I'm totally available.
We will call you like
starting in March.
No, but great.
Slide in the DMs.
Just submit a customer service ticket.
Right.
It's me, Adam.
Answer yourself.
Anyway. Right. So you're working pretty much full time, on Gay Pride apparel. Where does the inspiration come from? Like, is it
Because
just
there are only so many colors in the Pride line.
Well, we keep adding some, which is great. It's
That
really
is
love
great.
that.
That is great. That is great.
I guess we get inspired a lot, and we talk to like our friends a lot about this too. We recently released like a limited edition based on like historical posters collection. So like phrases from like the
Wow.
marches, like things like that. We have this amazing book,
amazing.
which you should all
Yeah.
get. It's called Queer by Design, and it's by Adam Campbell, I believe.
I mean, it's like the history of how
Of gay design, literally
Everything.
from the beginning, like the first couple of
That's
gay
amazing, y'all.
inspired
and
posters.
people that don't know about this, like we like try to recreate it like in a different way. And I feel like that's why we started Gay Pride Apparel.
Yeah.
Because we were in New York City, the 50th anniversary of Pride was coming up, and we're like, we want like cute things to wear. So like,
Yeah.
why not just make it ourselves, you know?
And find cute like designs that people don't know
Exactly.
about. And
Wow.
yeah.
You know what? One of my
Yeah.
favorite products that you guys put out is your throws. I'm obsessed with throws. I have like probably 6 just in my room, but I love your throws. They're so
Then you want. We just released those.
Yeah, we'll
like,
give you guys a
last
promo
week.
code.
Yeah. Just
I
because
was
like,
hoping you'd say so.
Yeah, I got my address. So my address is right here. I'll be happy to give that to you. We
Buy
live
the
together.
podcast
So just
for
go ahead and put that in
30%
there.
off.
We'll product placement.
We also love your mugs, your t-shirts.
Yeah, all that good
Your,
stuff.
no, we love
Honestly, we love y'all. So if y'all can ship y'all stuff
Yeah.
too.
yeah. Whenever we take a trip down to New York.
We love it. Speaking of shipping and packaging, I kind of want to talk about that. So I know that you don't include packaging that may endanger someone. We've seen so many times where families aren't supporting young LGBTQ people that are coming out. What made you come to that decision that this is something that you need to do by hiding, what we're sending? It's kind of like when I get stuff from the sex, not me.
Yeah.
When people get
Your
things
friends.
from
Your
Your
friend.
coworker.
another
Right,
coworker.
your friend.
And it's
What a naughty
packaging, but on a
coworker.
serious note, I really like that and I want to hear about it. Yeah,
Well, it was
my
pretty
coworker.
much
Yeah,
like-
that coworker is
It was pretty much listening to our customers. I feel like once we released our items and people were getting these packages, people actually came out to us and were like, hey, my family's accepting. I live in a pretty nice neighborhood. I don't have a problem with this, but there's a lot of people that are out there that like don't have the same opportunity. And we were like, what are we doing? Like
we were like, we all lived in New York, and it's like
a bubble.
it's a gay bubble, liberal state. Like nothing that we do in New York is ever questioned. Like you feel pretty safe for the most part. So, we were like, what do they mean it's going to be like threatening? And then we were like, wait a minute. Yeah. Like what if someone, and this didn't happen until we picked up steam and we got more orders and we realized like, oh wow, like these people are coming back and letting us know that. Like one time, for example, someone said they were in France. We have a pretty global audience, and someone in France was like, hey, like the postman gave me a weird look. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, like they read who it came from, and they were just like negative and like gross towards me. And I was just like, excuse me, like it starts at the postman and then it can go down to your family, and it's just like this chain of like things. So we quickly removed. And someone, like these are true anecdotes, someone emailed us saying that their bank statements outed them at one point because it said Gay Pride Apparel. And I was like, I never thought, like, again, bubble.
That shit is confidential.
Yeah, and I'm like 24 years old. I've been out since I was 14. Like my bubble is like, your parents are going through your statements.
Right. Yeah.
And then I step back and I'm like, oh my God, this girl's probably like 18 or something, like barely going to college. Like, yeah, her parents are probably looking at her statements. So we really took a step back and we figured out how to like rename our store pretty much on everything but our site. I hope eventually we can like do like it sounds sad, but like some kind of like button where you flip to like a different site, I don't know, and like get that extra layer of security. But for now, the packaging is a very important part from our story, honestly.
Yeah.
Just like being able to say that we were able to
do that,
listen to their feedback and kind of change it.
Exactly.
That's so amazing.
That is so sad that this
I get really emotional whenever I talk about it.
Yeah.
It's so sad. And we don't, again, the bubble, we don't see it.
Right.
Because
it's sad that we have to do these like extra precautions just to exist in the world.
Yeah.
Throughout, remember you mentioned like the green book that shows where it's safe for Black people to travel. Like,
Yeah.
it's 2020, and that's where we're at right now. We have to put in these extra precautions.
There's literally
Where
streets
is
where
it
they're saying
safe?
not to go. Yeah, it's so horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank God you guys can put those precautions in and protect people, and
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
bad, but it's a good thing that we can do that.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Fuck that postman. Like, I just thought about that. It's like, hey, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Like,
Yeah, and I have some personal postman.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm ultra triggered.
See, you are triggered.
I'm very triggered.
They need to be worried about getting our ballots in the mail so we can get this motherfucker.
yeah.
Exactly. We just sent ours today.
Yeah, it was $60 to vote for
Yeah.
us, so y'all better vote because it's free over there.
Wait.
Let's talk about
walk us through that. It's
No,
$60.
We had to like UPS
Expedite
it.
it. Like,
We had to UPS it via international mail because we're done and we could have gone to the embassy like 3 weeks ago and voted, but we didn't. So now we had to pay a price, but still like $60 to vote. We're like, yes, let's get them out.
Well, thank you for doing that, because most people I would assume would just be like, no, I'm not voting.
no,
So like
and
that's
at the
awesome.
at the post
At the
office,
post office, they told me, they were like, you're like the 15th person today to come vote for U.S. elections.
Yes.
Literally.
Amazing.
yeah.
From Mexico.
Amazing.
And did y'all voted in New York, or did y'all vote
In New York.
New York, yeah.
Mexico City.
Right, but y'all sent it in for like I just want to make sure like where you guys were originally from and everything. And
Oh,
Yeah.
State electoral.
Yeah.
vote.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were registered to vote in New York City.
Yep. But we're from Arizona,
Arizona.
but nothing's tied there.
Yeah,
nice.
just our
Right.
families.
Oh, actually,
So y'all
just
are
our
from
families.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
So I used to live in, I don't know if you've heard of it, I'm sure you have, Sierra Vista.
Yes.
It's
Wow.
Yes, I used to live there because my dad is in the military. So
Well,
we
that
were
makes-
stationed there for like 3 years.
From Sierra Vista to
Yep,
New York.
so I lived in
No.
Sierra Vista.
Props to you.
Back then we didn't have like anything. So we always had to drive to Tucson in order to do anything, to go to the
So
mall.
I went-
while hearing this, Sergio went to the University of Arizona
In Tucson. I went there for 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's amazing.
All right.
Guys, your voice.
So how do you feel about Arizona perhaps flipping blue this year?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I've never seen it happen.
And what do you think about Megan McCain?
Megan McCain. Oh my god, the Wi-Fi is being terrible.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you know her. Wait, say that again.
Can you guys hear us? Sorry.
Your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good, right? We're good.
Okay, Megan
That's
McCain.
okay. We were just talking about Megan McCain.
We don't care for her. I don't really know. Like, I don't care for her. I only was able to vote in Arizona once.
I don't know her.
Well, Kristen Sinema is. Yeah.
Do you have confidence that it could go blue this year?
I hope so. I don't.
But we lived through a bunch of like ugly stuff in Arizona that our
Yeah.
parents had to go through with Prop
What was it called?
108 or with the whole
SB
immig-
1070, the immigration law. I don't think Arizona will go as blue as we think it will, personally.
Yeah, me either. No, we're fine.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Arizona is not the most progressive.
Yeah,
It's showing more signs though.
It's the same with Texas. 'Cause
Right.
we're all
Texas.
from Texas.
We're from Texas, yeah.
No, but we do.
now they're like,
It was. I don't think knowing the people who live there, even like
Yeah.
the people who we know, who are like Mexican American for Trump, like I don't know. If
Yeah.
I'm so here's my thing. I'm scared of polls ever since the 2016 election. So like they can estimate purple, blue,
100%.
whatever, and I'm like, I don't know. I'll see it when it comes.
People lie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah, white
Can,
women.
can we ask your perception or your what you think of the Mexican Americans for Trump?
They're they are they're like, oh my God, they're like internalized homophobia. They're like that version, but for Trump. Like, you're just hating yourself, girl. You're hurting yourself. Like, and I saw this meme, which is, I don't know if this is funny, but it's like people making under $400,000 a year panicking for the the Joe Biden tax laws or whatever. I was like, that's
right.
Yeah, like you already ain't making no money.
What's up?
It actually said dudes from my high school scared for the tax or whatever, and I'm like, that's the Latinos for Trump in Arizona. I'm like, you guys aren't even whatever.
Well, I hope Arizona, they are kind of progressive. Kristen Sinema serves there, and she's bisexual. I think that I feel like Arizona could possibly push ahead, and we're hoping to see more purple, if anything. It might not be completely blue, but I would like purple or a light shade of blue. Give me a little sky blue. I don't
Just
know.
like a lavender.
Let's take
lavender.
Yeah,
I'll take lavender.
For the first time, Texas actually,
It's a toss-up.
it's a toss-up state.
It is a toss-up,
which is crazy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because I think even since 2012, it was starting to like
Get more blue.
It was always
It's
lavender.
that's the one thing we can thank Trump for.
Yeah,
Right.
people are like, we tired of this shit.
Yeah.
And so early voting numbers have been really good, and it's
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
Very
texting,
promising.
I was texting this lady with it's like an organization called Vote From Abroad that like helps you vote basically, and I was like, what do I do? I've never done this before, and she's like, oh well, here's the rules, here's what you need to do, and then she's like, by the way, I hope this inspires you, but early voting and voting in general from expats, which is people who leave the country in Mexico, is up by 150% compared to the 2016 election.
wow.
Yeah.
So everyone's just rallying to like do something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How do you guys feel about Mark Kelly?
Actually, who's Mark Kelly? Oh God, this sounds dumb.
Okay, girl, let me tell you a little something that's going on in your state right now in the Senate race. Mark Kelly is, that's true. Mark Kelly is the retired astronaut who is running for Senate, who is competing against what's her face? The bitch that replaced
Not the bitch.
the bitch that replaced John McCain's Senate seat.
Oh, I just thought about her this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know her name.
Anyway,
What's he
cool.
doing?
Check him out. He worked for NASA and stuff. And anybody that like went to space is just, you should be president.
They're out of this world.
They're literally out of this world.
I saw another meme that this astronaut voted via phone or whatever.
Huh?
And I saw
She did.
a meme with like, it's easier for a white woman to vote in space than it is for brown people.
Hell, like what the?
And I was like, God.
Wow.
That's
But you know, that law just went into effect. That law that astronauts who could vote not being on planet Earth, that law went into effect like, I don't know, it was like 30 or 40 years ago. So it's fairly new, which is crazy to me. But anyway, I digress. What?
Okay, yeah, no, go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say, let's transition off of politics.
I know.
Right. We'll just keep going.
We're gonna talk about this all day and be real tight about it.
We could talk
So,
about it all day.
Going back to gay pride apparel, who, like, if you could pick one major celebrity to wear your
Lady Gaga.
Boom.
Okay.
Well, we were gonna say one celebrity to fuck y'all brand up.
What? No.
I would also appreciate Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, hands down, all around.
All around.
Okay.
Yeah, someone asked
I'm
us
putting
recently,
that
and I was like,
in the universe for y'all.
that would be the ultimate like endorsement.
Yeah.
Like
What products would you gift her to like wear your brands? Like all the products?
We would make like a queer icon shirt or something
it would
along
be
those
something
lines.
specifically for
Yeah.
her.
I love that.
We would name our store after her. I just give
Yeah.
it. Just endorse us, Lady Gaga, and we'll love you forever.
Well, yeah, let's go.
Well, Stephanie,
Yeah,
you
I'm
heard it
putting
here first.
Yes,
girl.
girl.
Stephanie. I'm gonna call her Stephanie like I know the bitch.
Yeah.
It
Endorse
is
them.
weird because I'm kind of one degree of separation from her. So like,
Since when?
well, I can't remember.
I'm like, do tell us.
the
Alex.
designer.
tell me.
I can't remember his name right now. I'm so
Let's
sorry.
see.
He does all of like he does Sasha Velour's costumes.
Oh yeah.
He did all the pieces for what was the new video that just came out with Gaga?
911.
911. He did all those pieces. So he worked. I mean, I don't know if he knows her.
Bob Mackie?
He'd stop. No. Bob Mackie.
At least I said a
It was
name.
Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly designed all the gowns.
Mark Kelly. It's Mark Kelly design.
There you
Mark
go.
Kelly design.
Independent design.
From outer space.
Yeah. Those space
Okay, so I have one more question before we let you guys go. What is the next product that is coming out?
Oh my God.
Drop it here first. Let us be exclusive.
Yeah.
It's coming out next week.
We teased
At
it
the end of
out
next week.
but it's in a collaboration with Adam Dalton Blake. He is a queer designer, I think from New York. He lives in Boston now, but he works for Bonobos, and he did a really great campaign with Bonobos last Pride. And it's definitely the first time that we kind of have a concept and like a real thought out like product
Collection,
launch. Like again, we weren't a real business up until like this year. So this is the first time we really plan something out, make it happen, have a photo shoot, like do the whole shebang. And it's coming out next week. And it's really, it's cute and it's very queer focused. It's kind of the most queer we've been because a lot of our products are kind of Pride related, and we're trying to go more like the radical queer route. And I think this is going to be the introduction for that.
Exactly.
And it froze again. Damn it.
I'm super excited.
Me too.
No, you guys are really gonna love it. It's the photos came out amazing. The whole
We're here. We got you.
What was that?
We're here. We're
here.
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, our internet's
We heard
lagging.
you.
Okay, good.
Do you guys edit at all?
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
But like literally since the pandemic, the entire world has been on 5G. So
Yes.
it's gonna be a little bit slow.
There's 52,000 podcasts happening right now.
Right.
So,
But
and they're
you're
all on
number
Zoom.
one.
And over 1,000 Instagram lives.
No,
Right.
I hate
We're
that.
like, looking out,
I love it.
I hate Microsoft Teams.
right. Well, guys, we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Story.
This has been a great little
Thank
kinky.
Do you need us to send you our address?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because we want to collaborate too, though,
Yeah.
from like a Pride the podcast, Pride the series
Pride apparel, like,
absolutely.
perspective, like with you guys. Like we want to do something with you.
We need new merch.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
We just collaborated with Drag Out the Vote, and it's really been a really fun collaboration with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Just let us know. We're here.
We should have another
Let's
call.
do it.
Let's have a post
Our people will contact
podcast
your
call.
people.
We'll text you in a bit.
We'll text you in a bit. Yeah, we ain't got no people.
Text our team.
No, guys, thank you for everything you're doing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say to you, thank you for everything that you're doing, what you're doing for young LGBTQ people. Putting, the packaging thing was really important to me, and I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You have no idea. Well, you do. Being a young queer person and wanting to, tap into that world and not being able to receive it. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
No,
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the kind words. We again, it's like, it hasn't been a long time for us doing this full time. So whenever we get, any kind of kind words, whether it's you guys or a chat message on our website,
Our
it
customers,
means the world
yeah,
to us.
it really does.
I can't wait to quit my job and work with you. I mean,
Yes.
We have our first 4 employees right here. This actually was a
Yes,
reverse
honey.
interview.
Yeah.
You're in.
All right. So I'm hired.
Yeah.
You guys are adorable. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.